They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Night of the Living Dead is one of the greatest black and white horror movies ever made, and it's one of the most influential films in all of horror. The film is about a group of strangers all joining together in a farmhouse to fight off a bunch of zombies. The only problem is that they can't seem to work together.
Drag you out there and feed you those things.
It's funny on how what was essentially just a small little independent film managed to become one of the most influential horror films of all time. For starters, this was the first film to introduce the modern version of a zombie. Yes, zombies existed before then. Most notable example would have to be White Zombie, but they were usually caused by voodoo magic. This was the first time we've had zombies that were reanimated corpses coming back from the dead. So it's this film to thank for films and properties such as Shaun of the Dead, The Walking Dead, Zombieland, Return of the Living Dead, and so much more. And this film was also one of the last of its kind. The film was filmed in black and white simply because it was a lot cheaper at the time to use black and white than color. So this can be considered the last of the great black and white horror movies. But it sprung a new springboard for the gross splatter films, such as the ones that would follow suit in the 70s and 80s. And not long after the film's release, the MPAA came out with the age rating. So young children went to see this movie, and I bet they were scarred for life. Although I will admit, this movie does look very cheap, but it actually works for its advantage. It actually feels a lot more creepier. The black and white tone helps, and there's a lot of handheld camera shots, which were pretty innovative for the time. Plus, some of the zombie makeup isn't the best, but that decomposing corpse looked awesome, to be honest. Plus, this film had some pretty strong balls. I mean, back then, a black man starring in the lead role was unheard of. And speaking of having balls and the lead role, let's talk about the ending. Mainly the fact that there were no survivors from the main cast. Pretty much every single named character ended up dying in this film. And that's pretty ballsy. No Hollywood happy ending or whatever not. This is a true game changer, risk taker movie. The film would go on to have several sequels, including Dawn of the Dead in 1978, Day of the Dead in 1985, Land of the Dead in 2005, Diary of the Dead in 2007, and Survival of the Dead in 2010. And Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead would have remakes released in 1990 and 2004, respectively. Sadly, in 2017, the director of all of the movies, with the exception of the remakes, George Romero, would end up passing away of lung cancer. Now, even though he might be gone, his movies will live on as some of the most important and groundbreaking and greatest films in all of horror. And, with the case of Night of the Living Dead, possibly even film history. And so, another tale in the House of Terror has come